Hi, welcome along to DR Sports. We are back for another game of two halves. Week number 2 of the Premier League completed, and lots of really interesting games. We've got Mark Goldbridge in the building. How you doing, Mark?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm happy to have football back, but it seems we've got the normal United back. But look, some really good stories this weekend that I think we've spoken about over the last couple of weeks, and I think some people in the media make themselves look a little bit stupid this morning, don't they?
Trust me. We'll get stuck into that in a bit. Big up to everybody. It's a bank holiday over here in the UK, so big carnival going on. I was at the carnival yesterday. Big up to everybody who was at the carnival. I have to say, Mark, I met a lot of quite concerned United fans. Only after 2 games, but you know, a few concerned United fans they're not saying Amorim out or nothing like that, but they're just getting a bit worried that with him personally, when is he going to start delivering? It is only the 2nd game. And then also I was looking online yesterday, and some of the you know what it's like after you know the drill. You know how these things work. When it's this one's the one that got me, right, where somebody said Gary Neville at Valencia, 28 games, 11 losses. This is when he was manager, of course. 39 goals, 38 conceded. And then it says Ruben Amorim, right, at Man United, last 28 games, 14 losses, 30 goals, 45 goals conceded. I mean, it was a 1-1 draw yesterday. But now, it's Amorim's under a bit of pressure already. A 24.1% win rate he has in the Premier League so far. That's 7 wins in 29 games. And Opta Joe says the exact same percentage as Neil Warnock, right? When he won 27 out of 112 games. I love the way they manipulate some of these stats, right? And he said he was twice relegated, so it's worrying. But listen, there was no fans saying to me they want him out or nothing like that. But there were a few fans starting to murmur and saying, getting a bit worried about him. Should they be worried, or is it,
I think collectively, there is always, you've had it with Arsenal, you had it with Arteta, the people who had the T-shirts, didn't they? So, look, there are fans that have made their mind up, and the modern way of supporting your club is that some people support themselves more than the club, and there was people who were hammering him out last season who've had to stay quiet for the summer, and now they're going to start gobbing off like wolf in sheep's clothing. I think it's a great point. I've seen the 28 games and all that, but the point for me is where's the cutoff? Are we going to carry last season into this season, or are we going to start afresh this season? Either way, it's disappointing, but we played well against Arsenal. Arsenal won the game. We didn't play that well against Fulham, and we didn't deserve to win the game. So you look at United and you go, well, look, everybody goes into the season with optimism, and that the shine's gone from the season. It was a reality bite yesterday. We didn't play well for a large portion of the game. And I felt at the end, it wouldn't have surprised me if Fulham had found a winner. I don't think they deserved to. I think the point was the right result. But United have got you can't finish 15th and then suddenly expect to be mixing it up with Arsenal and Spurs. We're not at that level. You look at the summers that Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City have had. Man United have gone into the season, and I said this yesterday, they're treating it every year. Man United treat August like a pre-season. It amazes me. We've got no goalkeeper. Midfielder is not there. And Šeško sat on the bench. I said this yesterday about Arteta. Gyokeres has had less of a pre-season than Šeško. I know he was at Arsenal longer, but he was sat on the beach. Šeško went back to Leipzig at the start of July. So he's had a pre-season. United decide not to, he's not quite ready. Arteta's gone, this is my striker. He might not be fully fit, but I'm going to put him up front because I know the pressure's on. We need the points. And I don't understand some of the decisions Amorim made yesterday. Bruno Fernandes is not a midfielder. Some of the subs were weird. But I also look at the team, and I said it in the middle of July when we were on tour. We're not, you can't go into a Premier League season with glaring issues like that. I mean, Arsenal exploited the corner issue. If you watched the game yesterday, we were very lucky not to concede from a corner multiple times. He's dreadful on corners. So, look, I did say it could be a bumpy ride in the first 5 because we had to play City and Chelsea. I'm looking at game 10 to 30 when all you lot start playing in Europe every week and we don't, when hopefully some of our players have settled. Whether United fans and the media have got the patience for that, that has always been my concern. And I can see that frustration coming out, which is fine. But, it just can't go to Amorim out. Like, we can't do that again. Like, we've got to weather the storm. And if we finish in the top 7 this season, it will be improvement. I don't want that. But Newcastle lost 12 games, Robbie, and they finished 5th. You're going to have bad results.
Yep, and you're right. Listen, it's only the second game. And, going away to Fulham's not an easy game either. I mean, it's not a given that. It's not like I would hear it if it was Fulham at home, but going away to Fulham away, they're a good side. And they've got good players and a pretty settled side as well. So that was never going to be a really, really easy game. Bruno is normally very reliable on penalties. Actually, I think that penalty, the ball's in the Thames. What was he doing?
I think he was just rattled, but he said he was rattled by the referee. Well, he said the referee annoyed him because he didn't say sorry, but it wasn't the reason he missed it. I don't know. I don't know. I think all the Saudi talk again. I love Bruno, but for me, if he was at Arsenal, he's got to sit on the bench, obviously, for Odegaard or play where Odegaard is. You wouldn't drop Subamendi or Rice for Bruno, and that's basically what we're doing. We're putting Bruno in Subamendi and Rice's position when he'd be in Odegaard's position. And, he wouldn't start for Arsenal for me at the moment, but that's where he'd play in an Arsenal team, and we're playing him in the midfield. He loses Smith Rowe. He stands and watches him, and that's, if that's Declan Rice, he's just going to run alongside him and block the shot. But he just watches him go. There are concerns about Amorim. I'm not going to lie. There are concerns. He's a fresh manager in a new league, and he might not work, but United can't keep sacking managers, and it's too early in the season anyway. Too early.
1-1 Fulham versus Man United. A big win for Everton. Everton 2, Brighton 0. I watched the highlights of this game. How that ended 2-0, I don't know, right? Brighton, the amount of chances they had, they were all over Everton, but it was Everton who got the win. 2 good goals. Jack Grealish starring in the game, and off to a winning start at their brand new stadium.
Weird. I found it weird actually watching the highlights, because I thought it was at Brighton for a moment, because it's more like a Brighton stadium than it is the traditional Goodison Park we're used to. But look, it's a fantastic stadium. It's brilliant for Everton to get the win. I thought Jordan Pickford was fantastic. But like you say, this is the Premier League, isn't it? And you've got to get, you've got to win your own games. And like Fulham getting a point against United, don't disrespect it. Everton winning at home as well. I thought it was like you, it's a bit like West Ham Sunderland last week at 0-0. It was such an open game, and then Sunderland went and won it. And I suppose that's the lesson, Robbie. These teams that might be in and about a relegation battle, and maybe Everton will be, maybe Brighton will be, you've got to win your home games. And I thought Everton, typical David Moyes results, and they'll be happy to be off the mark at their new stadium. But it was nice to see Grealish. I'm not saying he's going to replicate what he did at Villa, but I loved him at Villa, and I think Pep ruins flair players. So hopefully he can have a little bit of a late blossom in his career and just enjoy football again.
Yeah, he definitely was the star of the show. I don't know if you saw in the game, if Matoma had scored that goal when he took that ball down. I mean, this guy is so skillful, man. Like, I felt sorry for him when that ball hit the bar. Welbeck guilty of quite a few misses as well, but it was Everton who came out on top. And the other game yesterday was Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. That one with very spiky with the whole Marinakis thing, where obviously the owner of Nottingham Forest, where he led the charge against them getting chucked out of the Europa League. They ended 1-1 in the end.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal fan yourself. I mean, look, what would your thoughts be if Forest went for Ange? Because I just think, like, the system that Nuno's got, it might not be the prettiest, but it really does work with those players, and they'll probably be around top half again if they stick with Nuno. But you go with someone like Ange, and
that'll be
could be a disaster.
Yeah, Nuno's done a great job there, and there's obviously been some sort of fallout between him and the owner, and also with Edu. Although they're denying it, the ownership now, they got to stick with this guy. He's a good manager, but managing under that Marinakis does not look like that's an easy thing to do. He thinks he's the manager, right? That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. Owners who get involved too much, it's never a good mix, because you'll never have stability. Yeah. The big result of the weekend was, and I'm not going to say Arsenal's, right?
But you love this.
Spurs.
You must be happy with that, though.
No.
But no, Spurs aren't going to damage you, are they, for the title? But Man City might.
Listen, I would
Even
rather
that you don't know.
a draw would be better, right? You know what I mean? But listen, no, give them their full credit, right? They were excellent. Man City, I thought, weren't very good, even though City had chances before Spurs scored. There was the one-on-one chance for Mamouche. There was after that, there was the header from Haaland, which he missed. But make no mistake, Spurs deserve to win this game. They got the number over Man City at the Etihad, but they deserve to win it. Thomas Frank again, you know, all rivalries aside, he's doing a great job so far. He's looking like a top. We all know he's a very good manager, but he's looking really suited to Tottenham, and he's got them off to a really good start. And you can see those players are playing for him, and he's got a good side. I mean, Tottenham this season. So in the games that I've seen them play so far, right, and that's I'm including the Super Cup.
Yeah,
I think they look a good side. They're going to give teams problems this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if you think we're talking about Ange there, if you're a Spurs player, going from Ange's style of play to Thomas Frank's, in a way, it's easier, even though you've got a new manager, because the way they play, it's quite not simple, but you can, you defend, you counter. They're good players. You've seen that, and I thought you're correct. For half an hour, Man City were the better team without really doing much other than that Mamouche chance. And then it's almost like Spurs did the classic away performance where you soak it up and then you grow in confidence. It was a brilliant performance. I thought Palhinha was brilliant. I thought the both fullbacks were really good supporting the attack. And let's not forget as well. I mean, look, if Man City had won that game or got back into it, we'd be talking again about VAR. I mean, I'm still baffled by the absence of an explanation as to why James Trafford wasn't sent off twice. Disgusting. And it just
crazy
with the Bournemouth handball last week with Liverpool as well. It just gets forgotten, and it's mad.
The VAR's already messing up. How Trafford's off all day long. Even before they did a replay, I'm like, hey, he's off, man.
He fouls him and then he handballs it as well. It's like, what's VAR doing? And then they go and give a penalty to United yesterday, which I was like, I'll take it, but I'll see that every bloody game in the penalty box. So they go find him.
I did actually think that was a penalty. He
100%. But it does happen a lot.
He chucked him down, Bassi. I thought, come on, man, you've got to disguise that a bit. But even if you're going to do that, he just sort of went flung him to the floor. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? VAR.
Yeah, but I do know what you mean. Yeah.
And then they, a massive decision. They sort of go, "Oh no, let's not do anything about it." It's the inconsistencies, isn't it? But look, thankfully, didn't make a difference.
Yeah, they completely bottled it, Mark. If City would have won, like you said, oh my God, we wouldn't stop hearing about that today. They're lucky, the VAR, that Tottenham won that game. But
they're so bad though, aren't they, City? I mean, I was like, I think it will be Liverpool and Arsenal, and City without Rodri. I mean, Pep gets a lot of praise through his career, but I've never seen him rebuild a team. And City fans were going mad on our watch along because I was going, never seen him rebuild a team. If he rebuilds a team, I'll reassess what I think about Pep. But I've never seen him rebuild a team. He comes into teams that are nearly there. He spends a load of money and then he leaves. And I think he wanted to go in the summer, but Man City didn't have a replacement. And now, people were talking about Reinders last week against bloody Wolves. He was absolutely the invisible man against Spurs. That team he picked as well, it was weird. It's a new team. And
Oscar Bob on one side who's totally ineffective, and he didn't seem to have any width. And like you said, Reinders, that was like a welcome to the Premier League. Did you see that time when he let the ball bounce and he just got bullied off it by, I think it was Kudus? You can't let the ball bounce when you've got a physically aggressive player like that. And I thought, hey, they look really poor, City. I mean, listen, they will get better. They had a lot of their sort of big names were on the bench in Rodri and Bernardo Silvas and Foden, all of them to come back into the team. But I am looking around and thinking it looks like a team that, I don't know, like the defense. I don't know, man. I was just looking at and thinking, I was comparing their defense to Arsenal's defense and to Liverpool's defense. I was like, it's not as good. They used to be one of their areas of serious strength, but
Yeah,
I don't
well, I've
know.
always said, I think I don't know about you, but I've always felt I called him the Portuguese James Tarkowski, and I think Tarkowski's good, but I've always thought that Diaz was overrated. I mean, there was a point in the second half
That's a bit
where
harsh.
no, but Tarkowski's good. I just think Diaz gets put in the same equation as a
Mm,
Saliba or a Van Dijk. But there was a point in the second half where I think it's Richarlison or maybe it was
mm,
Solanke. He runs at him and then he gets the shot off, and it was a good save by Trafford. And I'm like, if that's Gabriel or Van Dijk or Saliba, they're tight. The shot's not going to happen. And I don't think
mm.
he's that good. I do rate John Stones when he can stay fit. But you're right. Obviously, I think they're going to bring Donnarumma in, but I'd be surprised if Man City are anywhere near you or Liverpool this year.
And Donnarumma, again, is that the type? I don't know. Like Donnarumma, don't get me wrong, is a world-class goalkeeper, but with a ball at his feet, like how Pep likes to play football,
No,
that's not Donnarumma, is it? That's not how he. That's one of the things they were moaning about at PSG, that he's not good with the ball at his feet. That even's a strange one to me. Seems like, I don't know, man. I see little signs. Maybe I'm just going over the top, but it's not the normal fluid Man City that we're used to. Listen, it's only the second game of the season, so we've got to take that into account, and they will definitely get better.
yeah.
But I thought they were really poor. Arsenal, on the other hand, were very, very good. 5-0 winners over newly promoted Leeds. Leeds got a bit of a reality check in the game. Leeds started all right, to be fair, but once the ever-reliant set piece got put into play, Arsenal got off to a good start. Timber, Saka with a great goal. And then, like you said, Victor Gyokeres came to the party. He was having a decent game. He hadn't missed an easy chance in the first half, but his goal that he scored was really, really good. He made it all himself. Aggressive run down the channel. Just the sort of goal that we haven't seen enough of at Arsenal from our strikers. Drives into the box. Doesn't try to what our normal strikers would do, try and lay it off to someone or take it. He just hammers it, and he's off the mark at the Emirates. And very important for Arsenal fans that he got off the mark as well, especially ahead of that Liverpool game next week. And gets 2 in the game, gets a penalty later on. It was a great day for him.
Yeah, I was really pleased. I mean, obviously, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I am a Gyokeres fan, and I think this I don't know what it's like in the States and other countries, but the UK media, you can just spot when they go for a player, and they want Gyokeres to flop 100%. And it really made me smile at watching the match coverage afterwards, because they just clearly haven't got a clue what Gyokeres is, because it was almost like they were shocked by what he did. Whereas those of us who know what he's about, that's exactly what he can do. He is a goal scorer, but he can create goals himself. He can dribble, and he will get assists as well. And I thought it was the perfect first goal to score, because I don't think he's anywhere near. I don't think he looks match sharp. I watched him against United last week. I watched him against obviously Leeds at the weekend, and I'd say he's about 75%. There's still a hell of a lot to come, not just from getting used to the league, but also his personal touch, his physicality, his fitness. He's not there yet. So to get a couple of goals was great. And look, one of the things people don't pick up on is that you take those 2 goals away from him. Where was the service? Like, he's not, they're not. Arsenal have played without a striker for so long. They've got to get used to like his runs, looking to put the ball into the area. And that will improve as well. So to have 2 goals, I mean, he's got the same amount of goals as Haaland now. He's broken that duck. He's scored a good individual goal. It just silences the critics. And for Arsenal to score 5 goals as well, I thought Leeds, in fairness, did the job. They defended and were organised, and Arsenal still scored 5 goals. And people say, "Oh, Arsenal are Stoke." Arsenal can be like Stoke, if you want to say, on corners, and they can defend really, really well. But they're also capable of, 5 goals is really good when you want to be in a title race as well. So Zubimendi was excellent. Rice, the way he won that ball back after I think Nwaneri had lost it on one of the goals. And they've got Man City in a couple of weeks. They've got Liverpool next week.
Liverpool next week.
I'm really excited to see what they can do in the big games.
Yeah, Max Dowman came on 15 years of age, won a penalty. This kid's insane. I watched him. I
couldn't believe it was 15. Couldn't believe it.
15. He's 16 on New Year's Eve. It's crazy, right? And that's what he was doing in pre-season. But that's pre-season, right? I saw him have Joe Linton on ice like that, right? But to do it in the Premier League. You know, somebody said, like, the first ball, like, you come onto the pitch 15, packed stadium, right? Atmosphere's buzzing, you know what I mean? Everyone's buzzing because they did the intro for Eze at the start of the game. That was brilliant. And the place is on buzzing. You come on now, right? The first ball that gets hits him is like a diagonal, like 30 odd yards. Most, if that was me or you, we'd be like, oh my God, I want to make sure I touch it. He just nonchalantly just took it in his stride and just started dribbling into the box. He's crazy at 15. I mean, what a talent.
I just think what I was doing at 15 and a half, I was struggling to get up for school at 8 o'clock. You know, he's playing men's football for Arsenal. And I tell you what, the future for Arsenal is great because Nwaneri's a kid. You've got Lewis Skelly as well. You've got some fantastic new signings. I was just sad for Saka, but you know, he's only 23, and I don't want him for Arsenal and England to start getting injury prone because he's only 23. People forget that. But what Arsenal have done this year is you're going to get injuries. I thought Madueke looked actually quite good.
He did. He looked very good.
He's brilliant. So even if Saka's out for a few weeks or hopefully not months, there is coverage in that team now. And I think that's so important because last season you got the injury, devastated, but you're also like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. And we run for a couple of the other ones. Bournemouth bounced back with a 1-0 win. Ouattara getting off the mark there, right? So that was, sorry, not Ouattara. What am I talking about for Bournemouth? Tavernier scoring there. Semenya excellent again in that game. Burnley 2-0 winners over Sunderland. I think on your show on Friday, I did say Burnley, they'll be used to Sunderland. It might be a different game. Burnley did well in that game, winning that by 2-0 mark. Yeah. And again, another team that looked really good. One team that looked really good, and one team that looked really bad, right? And that was Chelsea. They looked really good. They looked really exciting as well. Some great players. Did that without Cole Palmer. You picked up
that was a blow, wasn't it?
Before the start of the game. West Ham, woeful. Half of the stadium gone with about 25 minutes to go. I know West Ham fans well, right? They're very similar to Arsenal fans, right? Their patience doesn't last too long. And it's worrying times for Graham Potter. And but for Chelsea, they're looking good. 5-1 winners.
Yeah, they'd be disappointed that they didn't beat Palace, but to come back, they want to be in the top. They want to be in the title race. They do. And Pedro's been a brilliant signing for them, and he was superb again on Friday night. And to score 5 goals away from home, I don't care whether it's Burnley or West Ham, you know, it's still an impressive result. And the worrying thing with West Ham is that, similar to Amorim, you know, he comes in halfway through a season, he's got a distinctive style of play, you're taking over from Moyes, you've got to give him a summer, you've got to give him a pre-season. I don't think they've given him much of a summer in a transfer window. And at Brighton and Chelsea, the one thing he was always good at was not conceding goals. His problem was always scoring goals. Well, they're not scoring goals, and they conceded 8 in 2. So I think Potter, you know, I always said this, as a fan base, you've got every right to chant and say what you want. They wanted Moyes out. Did say grass may not always be greener, and they'd have been better off sticking it with Moyes, wouldn't they? I mean, I understand West Ham want to play good football, and they're right to get rid of Moyes, but the reality is this ain't working with Potter, and I don't see it changing, because I think, you know, like we didn't mention the Brentford Villa game. Again, Villa just look a little bit flat after the summer, and you know, you've got to fans want to see signings. Players want to see signings. You want to go into the season with a bit of optimism, and West Ham just look really flat. But Chelsea good. With
no aggression from their play, West Ham. Like I was just like, where's the aggression in your play? And they got blown away. And you got to say, the other player that really caught the eye was Esteval, the youngster, the Brazilian youngster. He looked really, really good. And Chelsea are looking really, really good at the moment. Like you said, their Villa also losing. It's been a bad start for Unai Emery. And yeah, I mean, he's got to get his act together very, very fast as well. I mean, like you said, they seem to be suffering for a bit of a hangover. They're losing players as well at the moment. It's not looking good at Villa. They've got to really get themselves into shape. Let's get into our team of the week, Mark.
Yeah.
Right. Goalkeeper. I actually went for Leno in your game yesterday. I thought he made some really, really key saves. There's that one save that he made. Who was it from?
Cunha. When he was on
Cunha.
1-1.
That was an unbelievable save. So I gave it to Leno. Who did you go with?
Yeah, I thought he played well, but to be fair, I think it should. I don't rate this goalkeeper that much. I give him a lot of stick, but I think it should go to Pickford. I think in the game that, as you said, there was a lot of chances in that game. He also saved the penalty, and I think Leno's a good shout, but I think Pickford for me just gets it.
Yeah, you know what? He did save a penalty. I forgot that he saved a penalty as well. Yeah,
saved a lot actually. I've read a stat this morning about it.
He's good on penalties, man. Yeah, you know what? Pickford. You're right. Pickford. All right, give me your back four.
Sorry, let me just look at my notes. I've got obviously Timber at right back. I do think that I have cheated a little bit this week and looked at yours before. I thought Romero played well, but I think it's just important to take an Arsenal defender and a Spurs centre back as well. So you've gone Gabriel Van de Ven. I mean, absolutely, you could go Saliba and Romero. So I'm not going to argue about that. And I on the left backs, I did sort of. I was surprised that wasn't really any. I mean, I know you've gone with Spence, and I was trying to find an alternative, but I couldn't really find one in any of the games that there was. I think to go to Man City and perform like Spurs did, I think it's right that they've got at least two defenders in there. So no, I haven't got a problem with the back four that you've got.
Okay, so back four: Timber, Spence, Gabriel, and Van de Ven, a North London back line there. In the midfield, I'll give you mine. I went Paulinho, Spurs. I thought he was excellent. Zubamendi, I thought had a really good game for Arsenal as well. And Cullen at Burnley scored a great goal and also a magnificent assist in the game as well. So I went for him in the midfield.
Yeah, well, Paulinho was my man of the match in the Spurs game. I agree with that. I thought Zubamendi played well, and I do think he's going to be an absolutely fantastic signing for Arsenal.
Looking good.
We can go with Cullen because again, I sort of struggled for any. I thought Garner played well for Everton, but I think he played sort of left back.
He's sort of wide player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did play well. So yeah, let's go Cullen. But I thought Garner at Everton was good, but admittedly, I didn't watch the game. I just watched the highlights. So.
Okay, your front three.
Well, this is where I do disagree. I know you've gone Atara, Grealish, and Gyokeres. I think that João Pedro's got to be in there. And having not watched the Brentford or Everton game other than the highlights, I would actually take Gyokeres out for Pedro based on performance. Even though I'm a massive fan of Gyokeres, I don't think his overall game was as good as Pedro's. I thought Pedro was absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. And I like Gyokeres. And I don't think I'm not saying
I'm overruling that. Sorry. No, not having it. Sorry.
Well, I tried Chelsea fans. I thought Pedro
was all right. Gyokeres scored 2. Pedro scored 1. And I think Gyokeres, right? The reason why I give it to Gyokeres is the pressure that he's under, right, after last week. Like you said, the over-the-top pressure that was put on him, and he's going to score, he's flicking his hair more than, you know what I mean, 007, all that sort of stuff, right?
They call him hair flick, don't they? Hair flick. Huh? They call him hair flick from LOLO, remember that?
Yeah, did you see celebration where he did the flick as well? Yeah. Right, so big up to Gyokeres. 2 goals, answered his critics. I think he's got to be in there. Ouattara for Brentford. Brentford under pressure. Lots of people saying they're going to lose. They're going down, blah, blah. He answers with, his debut goal at home. And Grealish, another guy is under, a lot of pressure to do well. Hasn't worked out for him at Man City, and they've let him go. And I thought he was the man of the match in yesterday's game for Everton. So that's why I went with that front three.
It's Robbie's channel, and he's an Arsenal fan. But no, look, I've got to be honest. I like Gyokeres, and I think it is a big up yours to everyone who was criticising him. But João Pedro did play very well for Chelsea on Friday.
Okay, he did, but I'm overruling, right? And it's Gyokeres in there. So the team is Pickford in goal, which with Mark's decision there. Timber, Spence, Gabriel, and Van de Ven, all North London backline. Midfield of Paulinho, Zubamendi, and Cullen of Burnley. And up front, Ouattara, Gyokeres, and Grealish. So a real heavy North London feel to the team. But that is the team of the week. Just before we go, predictions, Mark, for the game tonight. Liverpool going to St James's Park to take on Newcastle. This is going to be spiky tonight because of the old Isak thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit worried because I think it's definitely been the week of the home team. Apart from, obviously Spurs, but with some really, Burnley, Brentford getting results I didn't think they'd get. And it's dangerous to write Newcastle off at St James's Park. But I did go with the Liverpool win on our win, lose or draw. So I'm going to stick with that. But I'm a bit worried about that.
I'm going to go for, I think I went with a draw on win, lose or draw, but I'm going with a draw. I'm sticking with a draw. I think it's going to be a draw. But looking forward to that game tonight. Mark, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. And of course, we will be back on Friday over on Mark's channel, looking at, we head to the weekend and our predictions. I'm trying to think. There's a couple in there that I think I think
you've done well. I think you've done well. Did you go with Fulham Man United a draw, or did you go United win? I think you might have gone United win. I'm hoping you did. But you never know. You might have gone with a draw.
I might have backed to you lot, man. You lot let me down again. I mean, but
someone said on our watch along, this game's got 1-1. Like there's so many chats going through, and it just caught my eye right at the start. This game's got 1-1 running all the way through it, and as the game went on, I was like, he's nailed it. He absolutely has nailed it. He did have 1-1 written all over it.
Mark, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. Also to everybody out there, if you're in the UK, enjoy the bank holiday. If you're not and you're abroad, have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget on Friday, as I said, over on Mark's channel for the predictions. Thanks and have a great day.